Om Namo Loe Sarvatrika Varti Ariyantanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrika Varti Siddhanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrika Varti Ayaryanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrika Varti Uvajjayanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrika Varti Samanam. Omkaram Bindu Sanyuktam Nityam Dhayanti Yoginam Kamadam Mokshadam Chaiva Omkaraya Namo Namah. Namah Samai Saraya Swanubhutya Chakasute Chit Sabhavaya Bhavaya Sarva Bhavantarachide Ajnanatimirandhanam Jnana Anjana Salakaya Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Ananta Ananta Bhava Vedati Bareli Bhali Ananta Ananta Naya Niksepe Vyakhani Che Sakala Jagata Hita Karini Harini Mohatarini Bhavabdi Moksha Charini Pramani Che Upama Apyani Jene Tamara Kavite Vyartha આપવાથી નિજ મતિ મપાઈ મેમાની છે અહોરાજ ચંદ્ર બાળ ખ્યાલ નથી પામતાએ જીનેશ્વર તાણી વાણી જાણી તેણે જાણી છે ગુરુરાજ તાણી વાણી જાણી તેણે જાણી છે ઓમ નમઃ સિદ્ધેભ્યો ઓમ નમઃ સિદ્ધેભ્યો Om Sri Sudatmane Namaha. Jai Jinendra. Today is June 29, 2020, Monday, and we are continuing our discussion on Atmasiddhi Shastra. We are on the fourth stanza so far. We had discussed last week some of the points, and we'll continue further in this stanza. So let me bring the stanza and we'll start class. Okay, so we'll play the stanza first and then we'll continue going. So it says over here basically that one who is doing just external ritualistic behavior and does not understand the discriminative science within. He does not realize the soul is separate from non-soul elements. And further, he is also refuting the path to the knowledge path of the understanding the soul. So those are the people, Srimadji over here says that they are kriyajar, means they are just ritualistic people, blind ritualistic people. Having said that, we can just say where we were last time and then we will just go from it. We have done this slide last time. Okay, so we were on this slide. Yes. So activity of the living being. Now, Srimadji first says Bahya Kriya, external ritualistic behavior. So this external ritualistic activity, what is quote unquote activity word means? We have to understand that word very well before we go to the external activity. First, activity word needs to be defined. So who am I? I am the soul. So what are the activities I can perform? I'm a soul means I'm a substance means there is supposed to be some kind of activity performed by me. The soul is performing its purposeful activity continuously. Every substance in the universe, they keep on performing activities. Activities means this is the soul substance having infinite attributes within, and every moment, every samay, there is one modification originating in the soul substance. One moment, one samay. And as we said before, one samay means blink of an eye. Innumerable time units pass by, innumerable samays pass by. Innumerable means uncounted, means beyond million, billion, trillion, quadrillion type of numbers, way beyond. That called uncounted numbers. And that many time units pass by in a blink of an eye, out of which the one samay that we take it, that a given substance in the universe will have a modification. Just like if you're sitting on a beach on the ocean, you will see constantly waves coming and breaking, constantly non-stop 24/7. Similarly, a given substance, and here we take example of soul continues to make these modes non-stop since time infinite in the past, and it will continue for time infinite in the future. So forever and ever and ever modification occurs in any given substance. There is no break in this one. There is no vacation for this modes and everything. Non-stop, it keeps on coming and coming and coming and coming forever. So every substance, they have this modification. There is a attribute in the soul. It's a called common attribute in a given substance. There are 6 universal substances: soul, matter, medium motion, medium ray, space, and time. All 6 universal substances, they have modification at a given moment, non-stop forever, because every substance of the universe, they have its attribute called substancehood attribute, by which any given substance has a given mode. But this mode is present in a given substance in its appropriate form. Soul will make the knowledge, soul will make the mode of a knowledge only. Matter will make the mode of a touch, taste, space, and touch, taste, color, etc. Medium motion will give the mode to help the any object moving. They'll produce the instrumental cause, that will be their activity. Medium rest will be having the activity in the form of helping a stopping of a moving object. The space will have a mode in which it gives accommodation. And time has a mode, it will be instrumental cause in any changes occurring in any substance. So this way, every substance, they have the specific work cut out. And so that's what we mean by activity. Right now, we are interested in the soul, so we write down activity of the living being. But same way, matter has a activity, medium motion, medium ray, space, and time. They have the activity, means action, means modification occurring all the time. So what happens in the soul? How is their soul's activities perceived? Soul's disposition. soul is having inclination, soul is having dispositions. Every moment there is a disposition occurring in the soul. That disposition could be pure disposition, means Suddha Bhav Kriya, or it could be impure disposition, a Suddha Bhav Kriya. This impure disposition could be two types: auspicious inclination or inauspicious inclination. So here, soul, being living object, ends up doing certain activity, and those activities are, let me just bring my pen. It could be a pure disposition or auspicious inclination or inauspicious inclination. These two guys combined together are called impure disposition. So here I am. I'm doing a charity, donation, compassion, doing the activity like samaik, pratikaman, worshipping, scriptural reading, and all kind of activities I'm performing, and these are auspicious activities, but still they are called impure disposition of the soul. Only auspicious inclination will not take you nowhere. Wait a second. I was been taught every day to go to temple. I was taught to do the charity and austerity and this and that. And here you are saying it won't take me nowhere. Yes, everywhere in the scripture is written that it won't take you nowhere. Does it mean that I should not do auspicious disposition? Well, remember, Acharya Bhagavan says it won't take you nowhere. It did not say that you don't do it. You have three choice only. Number one choice here, number second choice over here, and this is a third choice. That's it, I have it. So I can do three things possibly, and out of which I don't have right faith, means samyak darshan. So the first choice is out. Now, I don't want to do the inauspicious activity. So what else is remaining? Auspicious inclination. So do I do it or do I not do it? I'm still getting confused. This does not help me at all. Yes, it does not help you because I don't have the experiencing of the soul, which is a pure disposition. I don't want to do inauspicious. Now, when I do auspicious inclination, at that time, my aim has to be to go over here. I don't take undue credit for these auspicious inclinations. How many times a person will give a donation and says it's anonymous? There are people, they will do it to break their ego. Majority of people will make sure that the name is being recognized when they do some charity work or anything. So auspicious inclination to be performed, but one should not take undue credit. For example, a patient comes from the hospital after major operations, etc., and he's feeling extreme weak, tired, fatigue, etc. So the first night he comes home, next day morning, everybody asks, did you sleep well? No, not at all. And everybody's feeling kind of sorry for them. Next day, He says, well, I may have slept for half an hour. Okay, some progress. Next day, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Every day he keeps on increasing his sleeping hours. Now, after a week or so, now he's coming back to normal, and now he sleeps regularly. After a while, people stop asking him, and he stops announcing it. He doesn't go first thing in the morning on the Facebook and say, hey, you know what? I had 8 hours sleep last night. And every day he just puts that information on the Facebook, for example. People will think that he has lost his mind. If you're a healthy person, you do sleep 6 to 8 hours. So what a big deal. You don't take undue credit. In the morning, one wakes up. He does his normal routine by reciting Namaka Mantra and etc., some of these stutis and everything. Then he just does the toothbrushing and he goes to bathroom and he takes a shower, he takes a breakfast. All this activity he performs. He doesn't even register in his mind. He just unconsciously does all those activities. Means those are routine activities, so routine that he doesn't take credit for it. He just does not register that one. So one has to do the auspicious inclination in such a way that even you don't remember that you did something like that. So that's what it means by auspicious inclination. Okay, so having said that, over here on the other side, material dispositions is called Dravya Kriya. Soul's disposition, material disposition. So whenever we say anything, now I'm just going to define this word bhav and dravya. Whenever the soul is performing something that is occurring from the soul's perspective, it's called psychic inclination also. Psychic means belonging to the soul. Psychic means not psycho, belonging to the soul. And material disposition is just denoted as a dravya. So whenever any material karma discussion occurs, when a body material discussion occurs, then it will be called dravya. And at the same time, when any activity occurs in the soul, it's called bhav. Bhav punya means soul's auspicious disposition. Material dravya punya means material auspicious karma operational. Soul's inauspicious inclination. Bhav pap. On the other side will come dravya pap, means inauspicious material condition. So whenever the bhav and dravya, they will come together. And one has to understand the difference, because it is not only one word, but the two words, and they define two objects. Let me ask you one question and you can unmute and answer me. What's a samvar definition? What does samvar means? You can unmute and just give the answer. Samvar. Anyone? Anybody wants to try to attempt to answer? Or what do you understand by samvar? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Nimisha. I
So isn't samvar like inflow of karma?
Okay.
Or did I mix it up? I could have mixed it up.
Yeah.
No, isn't somewhere when you temporarily plug the inflow of karma. Like kind of like if there's like, for an example, if there's like a hole in the boat and water is coming, you can plug it so prevent water. But it's not nirdra where it's completely gone.
Okay, all right. Anybody else wants to attempt? Try it. You all know it because you know this is what you have been taught in the Patshala, right? Anyway, so what Shefali said is a karma stop coming to the soul. And Nimisha, you meant the same way, but it a word didn't come out right. It's okay, don't worry. But you knew what you meant to say. Now remember that definition you are telling, and you are giving me example. In the boat, there is a hole and water is gushing in, and you plug the hole, so water stop coming. That means now you plug the hole, so karma stops coming, and that's called samva. Is this a true definition? And my answer is no, because you are taught, we are giving the information from karma perspective. But what happens to me? I am the soul, I am the owner, I am the person. What happens to me? We don't know that part. I am the primary instigator. So something has to change within me, that changes to the karma. And if I don't know what is changing, what change is occurring within me, then knowing about karma is not that helpful, because, and your perfect answer, because that's what we have been taught in the Patshala and everything. But that's from the karma perspective, material karma perspective. One substance cannot do the function of the other substance. I am the soul, I can do only one work, is knowing, period. Matter particle can do the function of a touch, taste, smell, color, etc. type of a behavior. So, when we say karma stop coming, karma just getting liberated, karma get dissipated from the soul and all, but that's a karma related answer you gave. What happens to the soul? What happens to me? I should be the primary person. Everything should be soul-centric. That soul-centric means, I mean, your answer from karma perspective is right, but it's still wrong. Because, why wrong? Well, 10 friends were crossing the river and they came on the other side. They say, hey, let's see, make the river current was fast and everything. We'll make sure that all of us are accounted for. So one wise guy comes out and he starts counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He says, there are 9 people only. Other said, oh, you don't know how to count. Let me count. 9. Third one, he counted 9. Everybody counted 9 only. So they started crying. Hey, you know what? We all checked our answers and everybody said 9. So 9 is right answer. That means our 10th guy is lost. But they forgot to count themselves. Rest of the count was perfect. But because they did not include themselves, that means that knowledge, even the number 9 was right, it's wrong. When you talk about the karma, okay, that answer is okay. But as long, if you don't count the soul into account, if you don't take soul into account, then that answer is not right. So samvar means what? That samvar needs to be divided into 2 parts. Bhav samvar and dravya samvar, or soul's disposition for the stoppage and material disposition for the stoppage. Now, when you say boat and boat hole and plug the hole, etc., you are talking about material somewhere. But what happens over here, we have not answered that point. When there is beginning of purity occurs in the soul, soul is impure since time infinite. And now soul understood what is to be done, what's the right thing to do. And now after knowing the right thing to do, it starts doing that one. It just internalizes himself. When he does that, he experiences the soul substance. And that experiencing occurring for the first time, that means there is a ray of hope has occurred. A ray of hope is generated, means beginning of purity has started. And on the other side, at the same time, karma will stop coming. Primary event occurs on the soul side. So when I say what's the definition of samvar, that means beginning of purity. And when there is beginning of purity occurs, which is called samyak darshan, self-realization, right faith, whatever word you want to use it, at that time, on the other side, material karma stop coming to the soul. But primary event occurred into the soul. So that's why in the activity of living being, these are kind of things we have to understand properly. If I don't have proper understanding, basic proper understanding, then rest of the things will be just putting only zero after zero after zero after zero without having number one. So these are the things we have to really, really understand and take care of it. So this is important, okay? So those are the things that we have to understand. So first thing, when we say bhav samvar, dravya samvar, similarly, if I just say bhav nirjara and dravya nirjara means material karma getting shading off from the soul. But why? Because soul has increasing purity within. Soul starts purity at fourth spiritual development state, and purity keeps on increasing from fifth to sixth and seventh state to 8, 9, 10, and 12, 13, all the things, all the way to Siddha Bhagavan. So the purity increasing, that's called bhav nirjara. And then at the same time, material nirjara means this karma getting dissipated from the soul. So these kind of mindset we have to have it. It's okay, whatever is taught before, that doesn't mean that we can't see the right thing. Everything that we talk, what is there in for me? I am the soul. Tell me what is happening to me. If it is beneficial to me, I'll follow. If it is not, I don't care.
Kirit uncle, this is Seema. Can I ask you a question?
Please go ahead.
So when you have self-realization in the experience of it, the first time, that's like the true beginning point of the purity and moving along the spiritual path towards moksha.
Yes.
But prior to that moment, just before that, you start the process of vairagya and upsham and kind of working on those things. Am I right? And then that will eventually lead to the experience of self-realization. So does that fall right in the bhav kriya? That's not in fourth gunstan, but it's the development towards that?
It will not be called, it will be called bhav kriya in the auspicious inclination, which will be impure disposition.
Okay, that makes sense.
You did those, of course, remember over here we said that you will do this one, but
Yeah.
with the aim towards over here. If there is
Right.
no aim, and just because Seema did 8 days of upvas, so well, there was a big procession, and people were just congratulating her, and it was lots of fun and lots of paper. But she was feeling so great and everything. Maybe I'll just do the next year same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have no aim. Now, why did I do 8 days of fasting? Do I want to have soul's pure disposition to achieve? Or
Mhm.
just for the sake of my publicity I did?
Okay.
I had one family that I knew in Bombay, that the person, he was doing a Thai every Paryushan, 8 days of fasting,
Mhm.
regardless, every year.
Mhm.
So, wow, that's really good. Then they said, you know what? Actually, he goes to work every day routinely. 11, he's a boss. 11 o'clock morning he goes, 6 o'clock evening he comes back.
Mhm.
But during Paryushan, when he does 8 days of upvas,
Mhm.
he goes to work at 7 o'clock morning and comes back home at 8 o'clock night. Why? Why? Because
Mhm.
then I don't have to worry about food. Is this the reason you are doing a Thai?
Mhm.
Why you are doing it? It's useless.
Yeah.
So that can, so are you doing what's your intention behind?
Mm.
Well, in the society, everybody says, so, if I say I'm eating at night time, then people will say, oh my God, this guy, he's giving lectures and everything and eating at night time.
Mhm.
I'll have to stop eating night time, so that people at least, don't have to talk negative about me. Is that the reason I'm doing it?
Mhm.
So we have to have clarity in our mind. Yeah, it's the soul is doing those kind of inclinations, but are they pure? Are they inclination taking me to the purity, or it
Mhm.
just simply the? So Vairagya Upsham, what you are talking to me, as we said over here, auspicious inclination you do, but you don't take credit for that.
Mhm. So then, Karen uncle, if you have experienced if you have had self-realization or experienced yourself, then you fall between, are you only having Shuddha Bhav, or is it between Shuddha Bhav and, because of your fruition of karma, then sometimes you can have Shubh Bhav and back and forth?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that your thought process is going in absolutely right directions. That's beautiful, very nice. What's happening once the experiencing occurs means now I know that I have self-realization. Now I can't, I won't be able to stay in that self-realization experiencing state forever, because it will be transient, and then I'll be out with the auspicious inauspicious inclination again. But now when I have then these inclinations after self-realization, then I know I'm doing inauspicious or auspicious inclination, but that is not my true state. My true state lies here. And so I would like to go here as fast as possible, and I increase my personal effort that much stronger. And I try to go within. So meanwhile, these guys can occur. Srimad Ji had a Samyak Darshan. He was still doing business. You mean he was interested in doing business?
No.
Because of karma, fruition, etc., and the personal efforts are not strong enough, so he ends up doing those business, etc. But he said he has no interest of any kind at all, even though he does perfect business, honest business. A bank clerk is counting dollar bills day in and day out. She counts millions of dollars every day and never, ever, ever had made mistake even for 1 cent. When she's doing that sincere work, does she have any affinity for those dollar bills? It is her job to count. Only affinity she has is 2 weeks down the road in her account. Whatever the monies get deposited, that is mine. But when she's counting same dollar bill for the customer, she's doing perfect job, but does not have any attachment to that. Similarly, this person who has auspicious, self-realization, he will do these activities, but he is not into it. He's not into it. One more example: in the olden time, the kings and queens were there, and queen gives birth to a prince. Now this queen wants to remain very attractive and young, etc., etc. So she will not do the breastfeeding to the child. They will have a hired lady that she will come and do the breastfeeding to the child, to the prince, regularly. And she will just show all the affection to this prince. But within she knows, this is not my child. I'm doing it from just making my money. This is not my child. In the evening, she goes home and she is giving milk to her own child. What's the difference between those two, prince and her own child? What's the difference between that lady? To one, she has extreme affection because it's her own child. Other one, it's just business, I have to do it. Internally, she has no affection of any kind at all. Similarly here, internally, he has no affection when he's doing all this thing. His main aim is to, when can I go back in? That's it. So when we come to Gunsthanak chapter, we will go through this one in great detail. Right now, he does those things, but he has no liking for it. While we are doing it, I do an auspicious inclination. Hey, you know what? I give $1,000 donation today. So what? You had it, so you give. What a big deal. Why are you publicizing that one? Well, I did this, I did that, I read so many things. I know Atmasiddhi by heart. So what? It's okay. There's nothing to take pride in it, but that's what we do it. Even inauspicious inclination, anger, deceit, ego, greed.
Kirit,
Yeah.
Uncle,
Yeah.
Sachin here.
Yes, Sachin.
Quick question.
Yeah.
When someone is let's say donating the money for good cause, right? Like building the temples, or conducting some shivers and swadhyay sessions, etc. Right? Now his intention might be that if he is spreading this message in the society to his friends, to his colleagues, to other people, then they may also come forward and give more donation for doing such good work, like building the temples, or doing lots of swadhyay sessions, or conducting pathshala for small kids, etc. So is there anything wrong if he's doing with that intent?
That intent, if it is there, in the sense, no, I'm doing it because I have capacity to do it. I'm doing it, I'm donating because I have capacity to donate. I'm teaching because I have capacity to teach. But as long as his intentions are clear, then there is no problem. But majority of the time, people will, one time I was talking to somebody and they said, all these pundits and everything in India, they have the greatest ego. I mean, I don't know, I didn't go into detail anything, but the people also have that, hey, you know what, I mean, when you're talking about it, my name should come first, and then Sachin's name should come next, because that kind of a hidden kind of agenda person has it. Now, if his pure mind, he's doing it, pure heart, he's doing it, there is nothing wrong. That's what you should do it. That's what we said over here.
Right.
You don't want to do inauspicious inclination. You don't have Suddha Bhav. So you are only planning to do right now, you can do auspicious inclination, but as long as you do with the intention that these are my stepping stone to come over here, this is not my final destination. So that's what we have to keep in mind. For example, I want to go to New York from Phoenix. In Chicago, I have to change the plane. Chicago is not my not destination. So over here, this auspicious inclination is not my destination. It's kind of stepping stone to come over here. So activity to be performed, it's not been say don't do it. But when you are doing with the ego, that's what is problem. That's why Srimadji has said one place, if there is no ego, then moksha is over here. He used the word, when there's no ego, there's moksha is over here. Wait, what does it mean? There are anger, deceit, ego, greed, 4 types of toxic emotions are there. Why is he using only ego? Because out of 4 realms of existence, out of 4 gati, in a hellish soul, out of 4 toxic emotions, the predominance is of anger. To the subhuman and animal and plant kingdom, the predominant toxic emotion is deceit. For the heavenly soul, predominant toxic emotion is a greed. And for human being, out of 4 toxic emotions, the predominant is an ego. So if I can take my ego out, then Srimadji says that means you have no toxic emotions. That means you have just removed all these bad vices, and you are already over here, or you are on the path to come over here. So you are right that one has to have a purity in the mind to do whatever activity he or she is doing. There's so many unsung heroes are there. Nobody they don't care whether people recognize them or not. So that's what it is. So having said that the soul's disposition that we understood, then material disposition also are 2 different types. This is not that important for discussion purpose. Our important discussion purpose is soul's importance. What does soul do? So there are 3 things it can do, but out of which this is not there. I don't want to do it, so I will do this, but I'm not going to take credit for that act I'm doing it. I'm a doctor. Hey, I'm the greatest of the great doctor. I'm the very famous heart doctor in the city of Phoenix, and internationally people call me this and that and everything. So that means every patient comes to me, they got cured, right? Nobody dies on my hand, right? I'll be a liar if I say that. Yeah, patients dies too. So that means you didn't do the good job. Well, it was supposed to happen to patient. His age-determining karma came to end. That's why he died. So when age-determining karma came to end, that's why person died. Similarly, his age-determining karma was strong, and that's why he lived. What did you do there? Why you're taking undue credit for those kind of things? So you have to be very mellow guy. You have to really check your ego into the you have to control your ego, and not control, remove your ego and try to work on that one. So this one, what we are saying, the word we came from activity, kriya. Kriya is a word, bahya kriya marajta. The kriya word that we say, what are the activity I can do as a soul. And material disposition, material particle, they also do the activity. Activity means modification, means paryay. Every substance has their own paryay, modification, transformation. Is this a new phone or old phone? Looking at it, looks like an old phone. Why? Because it's not new. How do I know it's old? Because it looks old. When did it become old? The moment it was created, it started becoming old. Because there's a modification going on. Some of the things I can't perceive. But it does happen. So slow things. I mean, we are in the, let's say that we are in the family members and we see our own kids all the time. We don't see them growing up, but somebody comes after 1 or 2, oh my God, your son becomes so big now. So they can perceive the change. I may not be able to perceive change. Similarly, material particle also has dispositions continuously. Medium of motion has a disposition. Medium of race has a disposition. Space and time has a disposition. All the universal substances, they keep on transforming by themselves automatically. And one substance cannot do the function of the other substance. I can't do anything to the material object. Material object cannot do anything to me. I can't do anything for this body. Vice versa, body can't do anything for my work. Body is a matter particle. It will do touch, taste, smell, color, etc. modification. And I am the soul. I'll do the knowledge modification. So the kriya, modification, changes occur in every substance. So those are the things has to be very clear in our mind. And having said that, let's go further now. So now when we say activity, disposition, actually what are these two guys have relationship, material disposition and soul's disposition. As we said, bhav samvar and dravya samvar, psychic stoppage and material stoppage. And they are related to each other. What is that relationship? That's what we are going to see in next few slides. Now, soul is a substance. Soul is a substance. It can do two things: innate state and deluding state. Soul, by having mode, by itself, independently, without anybody pushing or pulling, soul can go into the innate state by himself or can be in the deluding state by itself. Nobody has said anything on this figure that soul is working independently. Now, I'm not in this state since time infinite, so let's not talk about it. Let's talk about deluding state, which I am here for time infinite. When deluding state occurs in a soul, when that actually anger, deceit, ego, greed, likes, dislike, and a wrong knowledge, everything is going on in the deluding state, altered state. This is a pure state, innate state. Altered state is deluding state. When that is happening, in deluding state occurs, then on the other side of the coin, a fruition of karma occurs independently. This process is independent. This process is independent. I think we gave example last week or week before. 8 o'clock morning, school bus comes. 8 o'clock morning, the kid comes out of the house. So one can say, because the school bus came, that's why kid came. No. Kid came out, that's why school bus came. No, they both are independent. Yes, they are occurring in a similar time frame, but they both are independent. The bus could be late or early. The kid could be late or early. But when I see coming together at particular time, 8 o'clock sharp morning, then I can say, oh, they're related or what? No, they're independent. This guy is independent. This guy is independent. Fruition of karma. When a fruit ripens on the tree, fruit falls down from the tree, fruit gets separated from the tree. Similarly, this fruition of karma, once fruition occurs, then this karma get dissipated from the soul and they get dissolved into the atmosphere. So their job is done right now. Whatever supposed to they do, they did, and that they got out of the soul. Now, When I was deluding state, this thing happened, and that relationship that we see is called principal cause auxiliary cause relationship. Means this guy is a principal cause, this guy is secondary cause. If fish wants to swim in the water, fish is a principal cause, water is a secondary cause. Or you can say nimit, instrumental cause, or nimit. Water is present but cannot do anything to the fish. But for fish to swim, water is essential. You take the fish out of water, fish will die. Water is essential, but water cannot do anything. So that way, similarly, fruition of karma is essential, but cannot do anything to the deluding state. Okay. Now, when this thing is going on the other side, this guy gave fruition, they get dissipated, they went out. But at the same time, the new karma, they got attracted to the soul and they got bonded. I was doing auspicious activity here, auspicious karma, bondage came. I was inauspicious activity, inauspicious karma, bondage occurred. This guy is gone, but this guy came. So in essence, your bank balance remains the same. You spent $100 and you deposited $100. So net balance remains same. Net karma balance remains same in the soul. And after having this bondage of karma, they go in dormancy. After bondage, they go in dormancy. They remain quiet. And at particular maturity time, they mature and they come in fruition. And at the time, soul is having a deluding state, etc. So this kind of keeps on going and going forever. Since time infinite, this is going on. Now, here, this guy has no consciousness, no knowledge capacity. Similarly, this guy is the same thing. Only the guy having the knowledge or consciousness is soul substance. That's my typo over here. Please forgive me. So soul substance has a consciousness. And in that consciousness state, instead of remaining in the innate state, it went to deluding state. What is the innate state? Let's talk about it quickly. Sugar, no matter where or no time period, any time period or any place, sugar will give sweetness. That is innate state. Lemon will give sour taste, innate state. Salt will give salty taste, innate state. Mango will give sweet taste, innate state. So my innate state is to remain within engrossment of my soul substance. Instead, I am very intelligent boy, and that's why I go in the deluding state by myself. In this picture, these two culprits, they have no brain. They are just simply servants to the master. And this master, how can he work? If he takes this state out right now and go in his innate state right now, then this whole circle has no feeding and it will start falling down. So my job is to get out of this deluding state, not to do anything here, just look for the innate state. When I do that, automatically deluding state disappears. There's a dark room, extremely dark room. I want to remove the darkness. I want to remove darkness. And so I told somebody, give me a flashlight or give me a lamp. But I'm sending you to remove the darkness. Give me lamp. Why? When the lamp is there, darkness disappears. You don't have to touch the darkness. It disappears by itself. Similarly, if you go to innate state, this thing already stops coming and whole circle there is no feeding, so ultimately it will fall off. And when there is no karma remaining, then there is a liberation, means moksha. All this thing I can do myself. So these guys over here, we see the next slide what it tries to tell us. So let's see quickly over here. We just talked about it. Innate state, Suddha Bhav, auspicious inclination, inauspicious inclination, which is called deluding state. Means I can do all the auspicious inclination, but again, they are part of my deluding state or Ashuddha Bhav. I have to keep that one in mind. I can do it, but as long as clarity is there in my understanding, that's important. You don't come to temple at all? What kind of Jain you are? Well, I'm not coming to temple, but at least whatever I do scriptural reading, etc. and everything, and I get engrossed within myself. I try to remain engrossed and everything. So, but still it's auspicious inclination. It's not, it's still called Ashuddha Bhav. So that has to be clear in our mind. Do it, but don't take credit for those activities. So now, here, the deluding state is auspicious and inauspicious inclination combined together. Okay, now, soul's impure, soul's pure inclination, Suddha Bhav Kriya. Remember now, Suddha Bhav Kriya, Ashuddha Bhav Kriya, Suddha Dravya Kriya, Asuddha Dravya Kriya. That's what we'll try to talk about it. 5 minutes are there, but I'll try to cover as much as I can. So, purity of the soul, activity of the pure soul. What is it? Soul is embodiment of knowledge. Soul is full of knowledge, so much that there is no room for anything else. Soul and knowledge have inherent relationship. You know, somebody tells me, let's go, there's a party there somewhere. And I'm getting ready, and my knowledge attribute says, you know, why don't you go? I don't want to come today. So can I take from me knowledge module out and then walk out and go out somewhere? Can I take my bliss module out and walk out and go somewhere? No. Every attribute and all those things are inherent relationship. Means if you take one attribute out, the whole thing will crumble down. So when it's a soul and knowledge, but we are giving knowledge, principle to the knowledge, but every infinite attribute, they have inherent relationship with the soul. Knowledge knows and perceives. Janan Kriya, Dekhan Kriya. Knowledge function is knowing and perceiving. Soul's nature of knowing is without any inclination of attachment. This word will be using it shorter. Inclination of attachment means rag. Soul, when it knows, it has no evidence of an inclination of attachment. Soul purely knows, that's it. I'm looking at this phone, but this is my phone. I attach mindness to the phone. I have my own, this is my body. You know what? I wake up at 5 o'clock morning. I go for jogging. I do swimming. It's a bodily activity you're doing. And so you are taking pride in everything. So when I'm doing that knowledge, I'm attaching my rag with that. And the enlightened person, when he is having knowledge, he has separated rag state, inclination of attachment from himself completely. Pure souls, pure inclination, modification is soul's pure inclination. So Suddha Bhav means a soul has a pure inclination without any deluding state. So that's your Suddha Bhav Kriya, soul's pure inclination. Soul's impure inclination means soul is having knowledge capacity. Let me bring all these bullets first. soul is having knowledge capacity. I, as a soul, has a capacity of omniscience knowledge within me. You have the same. Even Nigodh Jeev also has a capacity for omniscience knowledge. Capacity, hidden capacity. Is a hidden capacity sitting inside. Of course, I have not woken up that capacity. That's why I don't have omniscience knowledge right now. But my knowledge capacity has knowing capacity of knowing self and alien property. I have capacity to know myself. I have capacity to know the whole universe, and that's called self and alien knowing property. Swapar Prakashak. Actually, if I want to talk about that one, I can talk for hours and hours and hours on Swapa Prakasha, which is not the right time right now. Just say that a soul knows the self and soul also knows the alien object. A lamp in a room, a lamp is lightening up the whole room. A lamp is lighting the whole room, but to know that lamp, I had to bring the another lamp, right? Then you're going to laugh at me. Come on, uncle. If the lamp is there, lamp knows the whole, lamp is showing the whole room, lamp is also showing himself too. So, lamp is a self illuminator and alien illuminator. Similarly, knowledge mode is a self illuminator and alien illuminator. So, object of knowledge illuminates in the knowledge mode. There's a mirror, and in front of the mirror, you put the eyes, it will show eyes. If you put the fire, it will show the fire. Fire does not make the mirror hot. The snow does not make the mirror cold. Mirror simply illuminates what is there in front. Similarly, in my knowledge mode, illuminates what is in front. This is not the fault of the knowledge mode. It's its nature. Now, I don't want to see this thing because this is bad. I don't think bad. I don't want to see bad. No, you cannot have knowledge stop knowing. You can't close your eyes and knowledge will stop working. So, this is not about knowing alien object is not knowledge's fault, it's its nature. Ignorant soul emergence is to be desirable. That's where the problem comes here. Ashuddha bhav kriya. Ignorant one says soul is knowing, but that knowledge I put likes and dislikes. Well, I like my phone. No. I don't like it because it's old. So likes and dislike, knowledge is there, but I add likes and dislike on it. Oh, you know what? I look in the mirror, I look very ugly old guy. So undesirability. Or, well, look at me, I'm at age 72, I look like a 52. Desirable thing. Those likes and dislike when I attach with this knowledge mode, knowing activity, that is called Ashuddha bhav kriya. It's called impure disposition. This type of knowledge with influence of attachment and influence of attachment and influence of aversion is its impure disposition. Rag dvesh, the knowledge with the rag dvesh is a impure inclinations. And this Ashuddha bhav kriya, when we say impure disposition, so they are either it could be auspicious or inauspicious, both they are called impure. So this way we know it what it is, and we have to understand. Once we understand, then path becomes very easy. So I don't want you to do anything. First, understand the hierarchy, understand the philosophy. Once you understand, then action follows that knowledge. If I just say this glass of water has a poison inside, how long it takes for you to discard that water bottle? Right away. As long as you understand that you are a pure soul and the inclination of attachment and inclination of aversion are false. If you understand those faults, how long it should take to get out of that faults? Should be instantaneously, just like poison here, and you just gave up that water. Similarly, it should happen here, but our situation to be in a deluding state is age old, infinite times from before. That's why it doesn't happen just in a second. It will take time. It's okay, but we are on the right path to understand. And once we understand, definitely we are going to follow the path, and we are going to have the innate state experiencing. If it doesn't happen to us, who is going to have it? Tell us. So have a faith, have a confidence, have a excitement, and it will occur. Not today, not tomorrow. It will occur as long as we clear our mind with all these doubts and everything. So we'll stop over here. Any question we can entertain? Already time is there, but we can just take few minutes. So if you have questions, go ahead. Anybody, unmute yourself and you can just talk. Okay, all right. So then we'll just do the closing, okay? ये स्वरूप समझा विना पाम्यो दुख अनंत समझाव्यो ते पद नमो श्री सदगुरु भगवन परम पुरुष प्रभु सदगुरु परम ज्ञान सुखदाम जेने आप्यो बाननी तेने सदा प्रणाम देहचता जेनी दशा वर्ते देहाती ते ज्ञानी न चरणमा हो वंदन अगणी. जय जिनेन्द्र.
Jai Jinendra, uncle.
Jai Jinendra. Hey, we